he's got an ankle sprain. They didn't feel, at least at this point. I always think you find that a lot more the next day on these things, but sprain. What I got was maybe day to day. See how he responds tomorrow morning.
Got it. And then,
Both he and Josh.
okay. Josh came back in though.
He did, but I think that they always, like I said, the adrenaline, competing, playing, all of a sudden overnight they always worry about swelling and what happens. So I think tomorrow we'll have a much better feel on both of them.
Got it. As far as the game, you guys kind of made it interesting at the end, and then Caruso had that miss. Looked like you were trying to tell Sexton something on that next possession. What were you trying to say?
Yeah, I think that I thought that on a missed shot, 6-point game, could we generate something faster? And what I was saying to him is, you got to go quicker. I thought we held on to it and allowed them to kind of get matched. And at that point in time, if I'm calling timeout, I'm letting them set their defense, and then whether they have a foul to give or not. I was trying to get him just to go. Now we generated a corner three, but I thought we took a little bit too much time off the clock. We needed to try to go a little bit earlier. And these are some of the things we're going to have to go through with some of the new group, when they're in kind of these situations.
There was a lineup, I think it was the second or third quarter, where it was like Trey, Sexton was out there, Giddey was out there, maybe even Rob too. How are you thinking about, and Sexton was running kind of a lot of pick and roll. How are you kind of thinking about managing who is sort of initiating offense in those lineups when you have so many different guard options?
Yeah, I think one, is the matchups. Obviously, who's on who. The other part of it too is maybe who's got it going, who's got kind of a hot hand a little bit. I thought in the third quarter we got really stagnant offensively. There was too much holding the ball, and I think we were trying to beat them off the dribble one-on-one, and that's just not us. So, some of it is to try to generate some quick penetration to get the ball sprayed out and have that generate some ball movement. But you just kind of going off a feel, who maybe needs a touch, who needs to get a little bit more involved, who's got it going, where are the matchups, how are they matching with us? You just try to look at those things. And they played small, at parts, so we were able to at times play almost four guards out there, give us a little bit more ball handling and playmaking and creativity off the dribble.
But I know you guys obviously were thinking first, but with Josh coming off an injury and out kind of as dramatically as he did.
I'm sorry.
But with him going out, just were you surprised that medical from back in there at the end in the fourth quarter? It just seems that you guys would be in a place to be maybe kind of like protective of him.
No, I mean, I think when it comes to his ankles, Josh has had to deal with that before in the past, and he's got a really good feel. I talked to him, and he said, "No, I want to go. I feel like I don't feel it's as bad." So, they're gonna play a part in that. I took him out, because his minutes were creeping up, and I thought the game of where it was at that point in time, I think it was maybe 16 or 18, and I got him off the floor, and there's maybe 3.5 minutes to go. I didn't want to jack him up to 36 minutes, on a 16-point game. So I took him off from that perspective. And then I talked to him after he kind of twisted his ankle. I think, was it maybe in the third? And I talked to him, and he said, "I want to go. I feel okay." And I said, "Well, just let me know when you get out there." So he went out there. But he's actually, I think, through most of his career when he's had these sprained ankle situations, he's pretty good at bouncing back pretty quickly. And now I know he's had some significant ones, but like the ones that he tweaks and he gets bothered with, he kind of gets back on the bench and he kind of goes through a little routine and he generally can tell pretty quickly if he can play, and he kind of let me know he could.
Thanks.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
It felt all right. I mean, obviously not when I did it. The initial pain is always it feels bad. But, when I got up and started moving around, I realized it wasn't as bad as I originally thought. So try to get back in the game, play, move as best I could. And, I guess we'll see how it pulls up tomorrow.
How do you know if you can't play?
Like in the game? Like tonight?
Like coming up.
Oh, I guess I'll know more tomorrow. Sometimes the initial shock is worse than it actually is. And I'll get out of bed tomorrow, walk fine, and feel good for the next game. But I guess I won't know that until tomorrow morning. But we did some treatment on it, and it doesn't feel too bad.
What's it like going against those guys?
Fun, because obviously those were guys I played with for 3 years when I first got to the league. So I'm still close with a lot of them to this day. Still stay in touch with a lot of them. Anytime you go against former teammates like that, it's a lot of fun. Obviously, they're one of the best, if not the best team in the league. So good test for us to see where we're at. But that's clearly the benchmark for the NBA.
Is it? I know you ended everything on good terms with them, no hard feelings. But is there anything like you kind of want to prove yourself against them, or you kind of want to just like up your game, kind of going against those guys?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play against a former team, you want to. I guess you do want to do that, and kind of naturally the game feels a little more personal. But as I said, there's never ever been anything bad blood between me and Oklahoma. I love the team, the city, the fans, the people in the building. They were nothing but great to me while I was there. So obviously you get excited just to play against your friends and people you were in the building with for so long. But outside of that, there's nothing really extra.
Thank you, bro. Kind of be maybe just a little bit of a way to kind of look at where you are now compared to a past version of yourself. When you look at yourself in OKC versus now, what do you feel like are maybe some of the biggest biggest differences?
I think role's probably the big one. When I was there my first couple of years, it was pretty similar to what it was here. I handled the ball a lot, and then my third year, our lineup changed. We guys grew into bigger roles, and especially in that starting unit, I kind of, we got guarded very differently. Teams started cross matching a lot, and I had to figure that out. So it was a lot of learning that year, a lot of looking in the mirror, self-reflecting about how I need to get better as a player, and obviously in the playoffs that kind of got magnified a lot. And when I went into that offseason, obviously shooting the ball was the big one for me. That was the massive piece I went into the offseason, needed to get better, and I think I have. And a lot of that was just confidence. I feel like that year my confidence was just kept getting lower and lower, and I was trying to dig myself out of a hole that felt like it was getting deeper every game. And that was me on a personal level. My teammates and coaches were unbelievable for me and trying to instill confidence in me. But I think as a player, once you kind of get into that hole, it's very, very tough to get out of. And I tried to do it as best I could, but as I said, the playoffs came and teams cross matched, and I felt like I couldn't contribute to winning at that point, and just needed a player. And then going into that offseason, as I said, a lot of reflecting, looking in the mirror, and realize I need to get better to be able to be in the game in those moments. And I feel like I've worked on my game a lot, and got to this point where I feel like, especially the shooting part, that was the big one for me. And I feel like I've got to a point now where I let it fly with confidence, whether I'm 0 for 10 or 10 for 10.
Yeah, Mark said pregame that's his biggest jump that he sees is your shooting ability. You shot at such a high clip earlier in the season. Since the injury, do you feel like you're still as confident? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I mean, I've shot 11 threes the other night, so like the confidence is always there. And I mean, as I said, whether I go 0 for 11 or 11 for, I'm shooting the next one like they've all gone in. So yeah, the confidence thing that was big because when I was in Oklahoma, a lot of time I catch the ball and you see a big kind of backing up and daring you to shoot it, and that doesn't give you confidence at all. So I struggle with it there, but I got to a point now mentally shooting the ball where I let it fly. I don't think about it. I don't overthink it. I airballed 2 threes pretty badly tonight, and I shot the next 2 like I just made nothing but nets. So as I say, confidence wise, I'm at a good place, and I just let it fly.
Building on Julia's
question. Reset your timeline in terms of when you were in OKC, you were kind of in that ascendance of a rebuilding team. Now you're kind of back at the start after construction. How does that reframe things for you at all? Like, is that mentally jarring for you to kind of go through that, and have you maybe approach your goal compared to that?
Yeah, I guess, obviously when I was in Oklahoma, we went from the worst team in the league to the best team in the league in 24 months. So we did it pretty quickly. And a lot of rebuilds don't necessarily happen that fast. And obviously with the people and personnel that we had, it got sped up pretty quickly. So I guess over those 3 years, we built a lot of really good habits, winning habits. And the whole organization is so professional in the way they go about their business. And I was always very confident that the team, when I was there and even now, that they're always going to get to this point at some stage. And they've got a winning culture. They build winning habits. And, obviously being at both ends of the scale when I was there and now kind of being where we're at now. And, we're on the outside looking in, especially, playoff playing pitches. And I guess it's little things that help you get back to that point. But it doesn't happen overnight. These things take time to build. And I believe in the guys in this locker room and the coaches and the people in this building that we have the ability to get there. But you can't skip steps in this process, and everyone's got to be bought in 100%. And I think when you do that, you find an identity as a team, and you can put yourself back into the playoff kind of picture.
Thanks, Josh.
I think I'll be ready for next game. As you guys know, I don't like missing games, so I think I'll be ready.
We haven't missed one yet.
Yeah, hopefully not. So I want to play every game. So we'll see how it feels and go from there.
How much pain were you in? You limped off pretty quickly and rapidly.
Yeah, it hurt, of course. But it's really, I don't think it's that bad. And as I said before, I think I'll be ready for the next game.
There's just a couple of
days off?
How many days off we got? Definitely helps. Yeah.
What's scary when you first roll it like that? You don't really know what happened.
I mean, I've rolled it a couple times, so it's I'm used to it. But by the grace of God, it's all good.
What's the protocol for recovery? Like, what's kind of like the rehab and process look like for the next 24, 48 hours?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It just happened. So, my father's a PT, so he's gonna look at it tonight, and I'm gonna look at it in the morning. I think I'll be fine.
When you've had it before, what's been usually the time you come back?
Usually the next game. So by the grace of God, hopefully, it happens next game.
You came back to the bench at one point, right?
Yeah.
Were you trying to get back in the game? Were they medical just decide?
Yeah, I was trying to get back, but I just didn't feel confident in it. But I think I'll be ready as a senior.
What about the game overall? I mean, they both teams were kind of got off to a slow start, and then you guys kind of rallied to make a game of it. You didn't see the fourth quarter or play in the fourth quarter, but where do you think got away from you guys?
A little bit in that third. Me and Josh twisted our ankles at the same time. We went on a little run, but we came back. I'm proud of how the guys fought every possession, and we can beat teams like that. We just have to be on the same page. And, as you've seen before, we always have way too many turnovers. If we limit that, we can execute games in the end.
What are you seeing as the main issue behind the turnovers?
Sometimes just jumping off one leg in the paint, driving into fills, stuff like that. Thank you guys.